Hi, how are ya? It's Traviseen here, and welcome back to our adventures in the Season of Discovery. Last episode, we attempted a couple of Ashenvale incursions, or Ashenvale loops. Not too sure what they call them. I think they're called loops, because you just loop around and do a bunch of quests and then turn them in. And it was okay. It was kind of chaotic. There was a lot of Horde ganking Alliance. And it took a little bit of a learning curve to figure out. Maybe we'll try it again some other time. But today we are going to head down to Sonaris eventually. But first we're going to head over here. Shimmering Flats, I believe it's called. I haven't leveled here in quite a while, but we're going to do a couple of quests there. And then we'll probably make our way to Tanaris. And then we'll attempt to do some quests over there as well. Hopefully we can get 42 soon, because once we get 42, we can start getting into Zul'Farrak. I tried to find an Uldaman group again, but I could not find one. And I understand why now. The Ashenvale loops, if you do them with a good group and you're fast, you can get a lot of XP that way. It's probably the fastest way to level. I think the hardest part is finding a good group for it. I think the best level to do that as well is like 45 or at least mid 40s. Because if you're a low level like me, your aggro radius is pretty big, so you end up pulling mobs a lot, and they end up attacking you and dismounting you. And then you die, then you fall behind the group, and you kind of slow everything down. So I think we'll wait for a little bit before we head back and give Ashenvale loops or Ashenvale incursions another try. And a video came out recently about a person checking out WoW for the first time. It's actually from a content creator that I've watched for over a decade. I've watched him off and on. His name's Day9. He started content creation playing a game called StarCraft. And he had a video that blew up that talked about his history with StarCraft and StarCraft Brood War. Him and his brother played that game quite a bit when they were younger. And his brother is Tasteless, who is a pretty famous broadcaster, commentator in South Korea. And he commentated for SE2 from like through the 2010s with Artosis. And they are considered one of the best casting combos in esports, Artosis and Tasteless. They call them the casting Archon. If you guys don't know what an Archon is, so what an Archon is, it's a Protoss unit. Protoss is a race in StarCraft Brood War. And there's these two units called High Templars. So say these two tortoises are High Templars. If they fuse together, they make an Archon. So say they come together, so that's why they call Artosis and Tasteless the casting Archon. And now I believe they cast StarCraft Brood War. I think Tasteless still does StarCraft 2 as well. But yeah, Day9. He's been around for a long time. And he gave World of Warcraft a shot. I can't believe he's never played the game before, but supposedly he's never played it. And he pointed out some interesting things, like how he was just like confused with what was going on in the game. And that makes a lot of sense, because WoW really does just throw you in it.
Can I help you?
without a lot of explanation about like the story. It doesn't like slowly progress you through the story. Kind of just throws you into an expansion. Let's check out a quest here, Hardened Shells.
My brother is working on a new fuel
Guess we'll
for
pick
his
up
rocket
Gazrilla
car.
too,
He's
why not?
brilliant. He really is. So brilliant that I think that new fuel he's designing is strong enough to eat right through the car's chassis. I want to reinforce its fuel tanks before that happens. The tortoises out in the flats have very hard shells. I want to
Let's pick
use
'em
them to
all up.
create new tanks for our rocket car. Tanks that can hold my brother's new fuel. You look responsible enough. Will you get me
It looks
those
like
Even in
gray.
Zul'Farrak, the sand troll city in Tanaris, there is a sacred pool. From that pool, the trolls summon a huge beast, Gazrilla. He's so fierce that even his scales crackle with energy. It's that energy I want to harness for my car. Bring me the electrified scale of Gazrilla. But the summoning of Gazrilla is a well-kept secret of the trolls. To face him, you must first wrest the secret from them.
Heh heh! With all the races they're running here, I have a package for an old customer of mine, a dwarf. I make it my job to...
After the big crash with the Goblins, Red Thunder Racer, and a Basilisk, Cronkrider hired me on to take care of the track. I don't know what all the animals out on the flats are feeding on to grow so big, but we have to be careful to thin them out so they won't wander onto the track when a race is going on. Tell you what, if you want to go out and make a little profit, go out and remove the Basilisks from the area.
Alright, so we're going to remove some basilisks. We picked up the Gazrilla quest. It's a good quest for most classes if you don't have like a mount movement speed or anything to like help your mount movement speed. It increases mount speed by 3%. Which is pretty good. The problem is if you're a Paladin, I don't think it works because it doesn't stack on with Pursuit of Justice, which gives us 8% mount movement speed. But yeah, he was explaining how they kind of just throw him into the game, and he kind of just confused about what's going on. And I think that is a big mistake that Blizzard has done. And the game that they used to throw you into was the expansion was Battle for Azeroth BFA, and that expansion, I want to say it has nothing to do with the story, but I think the game that they should probably try to bring people into is Classic. Because that kind of explains the story. You kind of have to go through the trilogy, though, of like TBC and Wrath of the Lich King as well. I think probably the best way to like learn the story of WoW is to probably play the RTS Warcraft 3, but I don't think that's a viable solution for WoW, right? So I'm not too sure what they should do. I guess they just assume that people will just go on YouTube and then watch videos about the story and then figure it out that way. But it is pretty damn confusing. And then he said that there was like all this stuff he needed to learn. And this was for retail WoW. I think he does Classic as well. And pretty much it was pretty damn overwhelming for a new player. And confusing at the same time. I agree with them. They do need to fix that. It'd be cool if they did like a time walking event. Or like, it would take a lot to create, but like a time walking event where a solo player can kind of experience the history of WoW while leveling up. I think that's why they're doing these WoW remix events where a player can go back to an old expansion and check out the story of that expansion at an accelerated pace. Like what they're doing with Mr. Pandaria. Probably do that with older versions of the game as well, I hope. And then I think he played Classic and he thought Classic was just too bland. And that makes sense too. Classic is a slow progression curve, but I think it's really good. And that's why I prefer it. Because you do start out with like not a lot of abilities. Like as a mage, you're just frost bolting stuff down. You're right for a while, and then eventually you start getting fire abilities and it starts becoming a little bit more interesting. But at the beginning, it is kind of bland. I agree. Same with the quest too. Go over here, collect this, go there, play some mobs. Sort of like what we're doing right now. And I guess he means like it's bland compared to like most games of today. Which makes sense. You know, that game was made like what, back in like what, 2005? So it probably wasn't really considered bland then. But I guess now it is. But if anybody asked me like what they should do if they were playing WoW for the first time, I'd say play Classic. I'd probably even tell them to play Season of Discovery because it's a little bit accelerated. But the ruins could be a little bit tricky. You know, having to look up ruins and figure out how to get ruins and stuff. So yeah, maybe not Season of Discovery. Looks like we're too high of a level for the Shimmering Flats. And the problem with Classic, it takes a long time to level to 60, like 8 days. I don't know if people are willing to do that in 2024, you know? Where everyone just is kind of used to like instant gratification from like scrolling on TikTok and stuff like that. Takes quite a while to level a Classic WoW character. I guess retail's probably the best, and you could tell them to go play Classic or level in Classic. Or maybe check out the Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King. I'm not too sure. I think they need to figure something out that's new. I don't really know how to introduce a new player to WoW. I think the best way, obviously, is to level with them. And then you can, like, just talk about the game while you're playing. It's probably the best way. Because it's confusing. For sure. I understand how it would be confusing. And I think if I played an MMO, like, say, Final Fantasy, I would be so confused. That's an MMO I've never played. And if I checked that out, I would be completely lost. And I assume there's like so many expansions now, like WoW, and the story is so long and in depth, and so many things have happened over the course of like, you know, a decade, that I would be completely lost. That'd be kind of an interesting experience, actually, just to check out an MMO for the first time and just see what it's like. And to see if I could wrap my head around it, or if they make it easy for me to figure out the story and what's going on in the world. There's a Horde right there. I want to attack him for all the Horde that were wrecking me yesterday. And we'll leave them alone. I don't want to sink to their level. I'm kidding. I've slayed so many Horde already. So I probably deserved all those deaths yesterday. It was insane yesterday. There was literally 10 people sitting at the entrance 10 Horde sitting at the entrance of the Ashendale Incursion, just ganking people on their way in. And they were all level 50. And stuff like that makes me understand why people play on PvE servers, but I have never played on a PvE server. Well, I have with the hardcore character, because I think they made the hardcore realms back in the day on PvE servers for obvious reasons. But I rarely ever play on PvE servers. I kind of like the suspense of being able to, you know, get into a fight with somebody, or somebody randomly attacks me, or I randomly attack somebody. It's kind of fun. But when you're getting camped by a bunch of max levels, that really sucks. Yeah, not a fan of that. I don't think anybody is. But who knows what those guys were doing? Maybe they were trying to help a friend, right? Maybe they were like making sure all the Alliance get out of there so their buddy can level up nice and fast. Maybe it was the guild leader. The guild leader switching characters, and they're escorting him through Ashenvale Incursions and slaying all the Alliance that get in his way. Stuff like that happens in Classic. It happened quite a bit during the Ankaraji mount event. Just like bug mount that you get in AQ40. Not in AQ40, but there's an event where you can get this like blue bug mount. And it's quite the quest chain. And mostly guild leaders would get it, I think, right? Or people in the guild that they thought deserved it. And there would be wars between Alliance and Horde. Just to get the materials to get that mount. Our guild didn't really attempt it because we thought we wouldn't have enough time. And I think we would have gave it to the GM for sure. But we did have enough time. Our people on our server, Horde and Alliance, kind of waited to open the gates. I think you have to get this mount before the gates open. So they waited a few days and slowed the process down. So a bunch of people could get their mounts, which was kind of cool. And if my guild knew about that, then we probably would have attempted to get that mount for one of our guild members. And it is one of those mounts. You need like a dedicated amount of people helping you get it. So, and I think that's what makes it special. I don't know if I'd want to accept that though, that mount. I would just feel like I owed everybody like my time after that. Like whatever they wanted me to do, I'd have to be like, yep, you helped me. I have to help you. But that's just me. That's why I think it should go to a guild leader, because they do help, right? They do that stuff anyways, all the outside.
I hope you didn't kill any
stuff
of the basilisks on the
that
tracks
needs to be done to keep a
themselves.
guild going.
It takes a long time for the carcasses to decay in the sun, and I'd rather not have to take a shovel out to clean up.
Alright, so there we go. We're done with the shimmering flats, guys. Maybe we'll hold on to this one for now, since we might be going back to see him in Estimary eventually. Because we still need to slay Tethys and King Banglash. Now we're off to Tanaris, guys. There's a lot of these quests here are pretty high for us, but we can at least do Wastewander Justice. So we'll give that a try. We'll see how we do here. If it's too tough, then we'll go do something else. But at least we're going to get the white point here. And there's a new game mode coming out in retail, guys. Almost forgot about this. It's called Delves. It's a retail game mode. It seems to be like a fun game mode. I don't think it's supposed to be like serious and competitive like Mythic Plus and Raids and I guess Arena PvP. But what Delves are, they're 1 to 5 player role agnostic 10 to 15 minute adventures throughout Kaz Elgar. Delves have narrative tie-ins and will have an NPC companion accompanying players. For a narrative tie-in and to help out, Delves are a permanent addition to WoW going forward and are meant to be the new endgame pillar for world content. So it's kind of like a new version of world quests. So it's something you can do, you know, freely if you want to, right? And it does go towards the Great Vault rewards. So they've changed the Great Vault a little bit. What the Great Vault is, every week you have like some stuff, like missions to complete. And if you complete these missions, they give you rewards, like pretty damn good rewards at the end of the week from the vault. So there's raiding rewards that you have to do, like complete this raid on heroic or mythic. There's dungeon rewards that are usually like Mythic Plus events that you have to complete, and then there's world now. World used to be PvP, so they've changed that to world, and I assume that'll be completing world quests, doing delves, stuff like that. So if you do delves, you can actually get some pretty good rewards every week. And I think they'll be kind of fun. Cool to see what they do with them. To be honest, I'm not too excited about delves, but it's something new. So I'm not going to knock it until I try it. The name Bill Dwizzle, and I am the chief engineer of the Gadgetan Water Company. Can I assist you?
You there?
With?
It's time for you to be a big helper to the Gadgetan Water Company. The Wastewander nomads out in the Tanaris Desert have seized almost all the water wells. Without access to them, our water supply will dry up in no time. If you want to get in our good graces, then you'll help us bring justice to those nomads. Head east of here and bring down 10 Wastewander bandits and thieves, then report back to me on the double. Justice waits for no man. Goblin, bah, just get on it. Sergeant Bly stole from me. He said he'd only borrow it, but he stole my cherished Divinomatic rod. Without that rod, how will I know where to dig new water holes? Find Bly and bring me my rod. I heard he led his band of ill-reputed adventurers to go treasure hunting in Zul'Farrak to the west. I bet you'll find him there. Let's hope the trolls took care of him, because if you have to fight him for the rod, then you're in for a serious fight.
Greetings, adventurer. The name's Luglunket, and we've got an important job for you if you're up for it. Huzzah! Nothing would please me more as a seasoned spigot operator to take any Wastewander water pouches you might find out in the desert. That's our water anyway. The nomads have just stolen it is all. The Gadgetan Water Company will offer you an official care package for every 5 you turn in. Most importantly, though, you're helping Gadgetan help itself.
The Sand Fury trolls of Zul'Farrak make a tempering agent from sandstones. And I can use that to temper the goods I craft. Yes, I can. It is highly prized by connoisseurs, so if you bring me a good supply of the temper, I'll reward you well. Zul'Farrak is northwest of Gadgetan. Good luck.
All right, nice. We got a few Zul'Farrak quests. We got a few quests done here. The Wastewander Thieves. Much more of a challenge than the mobs we were fighting in the Shimmering Flats. But I think we'll be all right. As long as we don't pull too many. Yeah, we'll see what they do with Delves. I assume there's going to be levels to it as well. That'll make it more challenging. And there's cosmetic rewards, mount rewards, all that stuff, collectibles. Which is good to have. Gives people, you know, something to grind for. And who knows, if the player base really likes it, maybe they'll take it even further. Oh, these guys get hurt. Shadow mages. It seems there's going to be variety with the delves too. Not every single one will have final bosses. Some will, some won't. And sometimes they'll change up the scenery as well. I'll probably check him out if I get War Within. I'll probably get War Within. Bought every single WoW expansion after Wrath of Lich King, so probably get this one too. I haven't pre-ordered it though, and the reason why I haven't done that is because of the early access, like buying early access. I think that's really lame. I think the standard version should have that. And what it does is it allows you to play 4 days early. So that's the real release date. I'm not too happy that that Blizzard started doing that. I bought into it with Diablo 4. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try not to do that again. But if you want, when the games are about to come out, you kind of get that itch to just buy that version. I kind of wish they didn't do that. It's not right. Because you could have like a group of friends and then like somebody doesn't want to pay that extra $20, $30 for that extra 4-day version. And then like one person's playing 4 days early, the other person's behind 4 days. And it just sucks. It's really fun when you start a new expansion with a bunch of buddies and just level up together. Check it out for the first time. Let's have a drink here. I almost have all of the pouches we need. Just need to slay a few more bandits. I think it's not just bandits, is it? It's thieves as well, yeah. And we'll probably be pretty damn close to level 42 after this. Just want to see if there's anything going on. There's a decent amount of Nomergons as we level up. And I think as we get gear in Zul'Farrak, it should be easier for us to get into a Nomergon. I have been having a little bit of trouble recently. And I bet there's groups that would take me, but I guess I've just been a little unlucky with the groups I've been messaging. They tend to disband. It's a short while after I joined. And it's usually a group that's like just starting out. Let's see what items are in Zul'Farrak. Probably some pretty nice stuff. It's pretty nice neck. I think the one we have is better though at the moment. 13 stamina, 5 spirit neck. Lifeblood amulet. There we go. We got all of our Wastewander pouches. Plate hands, 14 attack power with a few random enchantments. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of plate gear here. Some cloth gear. That leather chest is pretty nice. 8 strength, 10 stam, 20 spirit. Not for us. I think the Carapace of Tootin' Cash is better. There's Gazrella. It's okay. These plate shoulders we could use. 12 strength, 12 stam, 8 spirit. Level 45. Some nice one-handed axes that we could use for tanking. Ripsaw. Chance on hit wounds a target for 75 damage, 33.3 damage per second. Some leather wrists, 95 armor, 6 strength, 17 agi. It's probably much better than our wrists. Yeah, way better. Yeah, so there are some good upgrades in there we can get. We should try to get in there as soon as possible. Maybe do a few runs. Maybe the quest rewards are good as well. Mason's Fraternity Ring, 13 agi, 5 stam. Not a bad ring. That is an upgrade. There's a few more quests we need to pick up as well. Here quick. Oh. See, that's that aggro radius right there. She was all the way over at that pillar. And we pulled her. I think that's why we need a higher level to make those Ashavale loops a little bit easier. Got 2 patterns. Tough Scorpid Breastplate. It's a leather weapon helmet. And red mage weave vest. Tailored gun. Decent amount of XP. 5 bars away, 5.5 bars away. 42. Which is not bad. I wonder what it is, like our XP today compared to what we got last episode. Like, is it really that much faster doing Asheville loops? Got a crit on that exorcist. Oh, so we just need to find thieves now. Need to find one more thief. We can't drink the Waste water pouch. Wonder why. They should allow that to be a mana that you can like farm and collect. Shadow mage there. Is that a thief there? No, bandit. Mostly just bandits here now. Let's get on our mount. Let's see if we can find a thief. Supposedly there's some over here as well. Ah, there's one. Uh-oh. Disarms us, then runs away. Pull this one back so that doesn't happen again. I think we'll be okay here. We're a little low on mana. We should be fine. Alright, there we go. All done. Alright, so let's go back, turn these in. Need around 23k to level up. I don't think we'll get that from the quests. But it'll be close. We'll get a few bars. A lot of Zul'Faraks going on. Should try to get into one of those soon. The problem is we have a bunch of quests here that are just maybe a little too high for us. Could do the Andre Firebeard one. Kind of tough though. That would be the one we would do next. Khalif Scorpid Sting would be a little too tough. It's red.
Time is money, friend. Now, that's what I call efficiency. You've helped thin out the Nomads' numbers enough now that we can start to think about how we can win back those water wells.
There's another
The
quest.
Gadgets and Water Company thanks you for your help, but we're far from done in dealing with those foul Nomads. Listen close. Here's what we need next. We need you to take on the stronger ranks of the Wastewander Nomads now. You've done a good job thus far, but if we are to take back those water wells, then it only makes sense to do it against as few Nomads as possible. This time around, we need you to take down their rogues, assassins, and shadow mages. You'll find them east and southeast of here. I'm not going to lie to you. They're a nasty lot. Do this for us, though, and we'll be on our way to taking back what is rightfully ours.
Excellent! The more water pouches we're able to reclaim, the further away from disaster we'll all be. Keep 'em coming, and I will be sure to reward you for every 5 water pouches you bring me.
Well, there's a lot of horde here, guys. And I think next episode, that's what we'll do. We'll do this more Wastewander Justice quest. That should get us level 42. And then we'll try to get into a Zul'Farak after that. But that's going to be the end of today's episode, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.